or search Kasai on your mobile phone. Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harmon Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. One, visit harmonsolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmonsolar.com.
Don't miss a minute of the action when Sun Devil football returns to Mountain America Stadium Saturday, October 5th, when they take on Big 12 rival Kansas. Svoboda throws, intercepted by Fiaseu. Cyrus Fiaseu is going to take it all the way in for an Arizona State touchdown. A pick six for San Diego State transfer Cyrus Fiaseu. Get your tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-969-7766. 800-969-7766. 800-969-7766.
Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona.
Did you know you can track the status of your early ballot this fall? If you're planning to vote by mail for the November election, Arizona offers text and email updates, so you can track your vote. Know when your early ballot is sent and received in Arizona. With Ballot Tracks, registering is simple. Sign up at arizona.vote or call 877-843-8683. Track your vote this fall. Visit arizona.vote to sign up today. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Secretary of State's office.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's Monday here on the Daily Blender, and your good friend, your radio pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside Randy White. Got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, as we broadcast live in the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. And we just realized we don't have an hour and a half. We have 1 hour and 15 minutes because I hate this. It's this dual Monday Night Football thing that they're doing. I don't know whose idea it was, but it certainly was an idiot because now we got Jacksonville and Buffalo doing one Monday Night Football, and then the Washington Commanders and the Cincinnati Bengals doing the other one. Well, we are slated to air Jacksonville versus Buffalo. Well, that one, for whatever reason, starts at 4:15.
You know, it doesn't matter what happens tonight.
Why does it not matter?
I'll be playing a dirge on my harpsichord tonight.
You don't have a harpsichord.
I have a harpsichord, and I'll be playing a dirge on it because I've lost again.
You lost, your Cardinals?
No, Cardinals, yes. Fantasy football, yes.
Well, before we get into all of that, the dirge might be appropriate because, very sad, Al McCoy passed away over the weekend. I didn't even know he was sick. But he'd been going along, and then he said, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna retire." And then now this happened. This is just
Well,
really sad.
I don't think he was sick. I think it was time for him. 91 years old. I think it was time for him to go home. Whammo slammo. Like
Well,
that.
I hope he wasn't sick, and I hope it was just a nice, peaceful goodbye or whatever. But it's just sad. Just didn't expect that out of nowhere. Back when
My
I was
understanding,
23 years old, driving around delivering pizzas. That is how I would see the Suns games back then, was through the eyes of Al McCoy, because he would be the voice in the speaker as we went along. And that, multiply that by a bunch of people, a million people, more than that. They have heard his calls on the radio and on television, and basically enjoyed the Phoenix Suns games through him. So yeah, and I did have the pleasure of meeting him and getting to hang out with him and Chick Hearn at this event once. But that was the last time I ever saw him in person, like where I hung out with him. And even back then, he was just the nicest guy on the planet, and he continued to be that all the way up until the very end. So, but yeah, I mean, we got a lot that we got to get done here in the next hour and some. But there's no way we're not going to stop a moment and at least mention.
Should we have like a moment of silence for Big Al?
No. I mean, what would that? I mean, if you want, we can put together some sort of a nifty tribute for him tomorrow when we have more time. But I don't think a moment of silence is really in order. Like, I don't know. Who are we?
My
right?
understanding is he died peacefully at home. I'm sure that's probably not the way he wanted to go. He probably wanted to go to the big broadcast booth in the sky, calling a Suns championship.
I don't think you want to die in the middle of calling a Suns championship.
No,
Randy.
not in the middle of.
I think he'd rather go out in a hail of gunfire, but than just go out.
Because
he wouldn't want to miss the end of a championship.
No, he does. I didn't say going out in the middle of calling the championship. I said after calling the championship, a Suns championship.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
And the very from the America West Arena, everybody. This is Al McCoy saying, see what I mean?
No, even that would be horrifying.
What do you mean?
You can't have it happen right at the.
What do you mean?
You want to enjoy it.
Let him go have some dinner and go home.
Oh my God, the Suns have won. Here's the wrap up. I'm your boy, Al McCoy.
Yeah,
I
don't think that
just fall right over, right behind the microphone.
I don't think so.
I think you keep confusing people that want to go out in a hail of gunfire. That's me.
No, I'm just saying. Okay, listen. We don't know how Al McCoy would have rather gone out, probably at the age of 200. But beyond that, you don't know. Nobody knows.
Suns win. Suns win. Suns are the world champions.
I just
like
don't.
All that would do is cast a giant shadow over that. Let me tell you, he wouldn't want
that. That is the appropriate way to go out. Are you kidding me?
I can't disagree more. I mean, you had it right until it part. I don't think so.
Harry Carey.
Like after the parade.
He didn't die doing a game.
No, he doesn't.
Harry Carey didn't die doing a game.
That's what I mean. Harry Carey would have rather have gone out when the Cubs win. Cubs win. Cubs win.
No, see, that's not how he would rather say Cubs win. Cubs win. Get in the car, drive over, have a nice dinner. Get a little bit of sexy time with his wife, and go into bed, and in the middle of the night with no pain pass away. Al McCoy did pass away, according to what they're saying, peacefully in his sleep. I think he's probably probably the best way to go.
That is the best way to go.
How do you know he wasn't doing the Jungle Boogie with his wife? That's what I'd like to know.
Don't know.
Maybe he was doing the Jungle Boogie.
Maybe you could hope, but whatever the case, it's not on the microphone.
I think it would be.
You are incorrect.
No, I think that's the way Al McCoy would rather have gone to see his maker in the big broadcast booth in the sky. By Suns win
it doesn't matter because the Suns didn't win.
Larry O'Brien Trophy, and the Suns are the champions.
And that is the saddest thing about the whole thing is that He got to 91 years old. He
Mhm.
was there day in, day out, broadcasted with a whole bunch of different people, but he was always the voice of the Suns no matter what
Oh, yeah.
happened.
Oh, yeah.
And they just couldn't get him that championship.
And
That's,
you know-
if I was a Suns player, that would be like the biggest disappointment in my entire life is that we didn't get Al McCoy a championship.
You know, somewhere Dick Van Arsdale is turning over in his grave.
Is he dead?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know he died.
Him and Tom,
Hmm.
his twin brother.
Both of them died?
Oh, yeah. They fell over like this.
I don't.
They fell over. Yeah, they both died.
Bruno Baller says, rest in peace, Al McCoy, one of the great
Oh, yeah.
local personalities.
do you mean
C-Hack
local?
says, happy Monday, gentlemen. Happy to you. Teacher lady, yes, I did get your email. Moist one says, whammo slammo. That was beautifully put, Randy.
Thank you.
Al McCoy has been sick, says Seabass, for the last 56 years, having to
What
watch
do you
the
mean?
god-awful Suns lose
Oh,
season
come
after
on.
season. They couldn't even
Oh,
win
my
one
God.
single championship for Al.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my
Don't do
God.
Rest in pieces, Al McCoy, says Seabass.
I will tell you this. Al McCoy called all 3 of the championship runs of the Phoenix Suns.
Mhm.
All 3.
Bat
There
flipper.
was the one against the Celtics back in the 70s.
Well, we don't
There was the one against
have
the
time
Bulls.
to go through the whole history.
uh,
here.
Bulls here, and then there was the one against the Buccos.
Yeah. Oh, well, spoiler alert, we lost them all. Moving on. Bat Flipper says, Shazam.
Oh,
Big
yeah.
George, he just wants to talk about the Diamondbacks. We have no time for that.
No,
Heavy
No.
Metal Maniac says, very inappropriate, Randy. His
What do you
wife
mean?
has been gone a couple of years.
what? Well,
That
that's why he died.
No, doesn't mean he didn't have a friend. I don't know. Bullseye says, actually, Harry Carey did die eating dinner at a restaurant and drinking a Budweiser, did he not?
Hey, you
See?
got up
least-
after some ribs.
At least
and-
he got home, you know?
Hey, got some lobster and ribs at the dinette there in a beautiful Mesa during spring training, and I had a stroke right there in the restaurant.
Pull the
Hey.
plug says, well, with that, if anyone dies at the mic, Randy gets to carry the body out. Yeah, I think that's now your responsibility for that. Now we have even less time to talk about all the football games that happened yesterday, because now we have 1 hour and 7 minutes before Monday Night Football starts.
I'm trying to kill time. I mean,
Why
I
are
really
you
don't
trying
wanna-
to kill time?
I
I need
don't
all
wanna-
the time I can get.
Can we just move on then?
Your team lost, and that's
Yeah,
it.
Okay, good. All right, we're moving on.
But we're going to talk about it.
Oh,
The Lions
crap.
weren't great, but the Cardinals were worse. I don't know.
I will say this. Both teams had exemplary defensive play. I will say this. Both teams had some highlights and some lowlights with their offense. And I will say this. I think the Cardinals have no reason to hang their head. The Cardinals, they just couldn't get the offense going. And I'm not going to blame. Listen, I'm not blaming the Zebras for the Cardinals right there when they had a chance to with that pick six. I'm not going to go ahead and call anything wonky on that. I'm not. The Cardinals should have scored some points. There were a handful of times
That was a bad
they
call, though.
They had it may have been a bad call. But there were a handful of times, like the one that got picked off in the end zone. He was going for Harrison Jr. Put the ball where it needs to go.
Yeah. Okay. Keon, do you have any thoughts on the Cardinals game there?
Yeah, I just kind of was a little bit disappointed in the running game, which I understand. You know, you can't stick to that maybe as closely as you want to once you start falling behind. But like the bread and butter of this team is running the football and
between the tackles.
Between the tackles, and as much as you'll take the rushing upside from Kyler Murray, 17 James Conner rushing yards. It's not great.
No.
That's not what this team is about. And establishing that identity in every game has seemed to be important. And then this game, it just didn't happen.
Average Joe says Kyler Murray said it's not his job to force targets to rookie wide receiver Marvin Harrison after week 1. And yet now he forces it to him in constant double coverage in week 3. Kyler had a terrible game, very inaccurate all day.
Can we let that go? That was 2 games ago. Okay.
And
you guys
honestly,
it's like those political ads I'm hearing on the radio station sometimes and on other radio stations around the valley. You take a little thing out of 2 or 3 weeks ago and you bring that in here and you try to make that part of this week. Kyler Murray was trying to do his job, and he was trying to get the ball to his best receiver. Who's the best receiver on the Arizona Cardinals? Marvin Harrison Jr. I'll go ahead and answer that for you. Yeah, that's right.
I didn't get a chance to say your mom.
No,
Well, I
my
think
mom.
I just
my
wasn't.
mom's
I wasn't
dead.
fast enough.
Yeah,
My mom's dead.
because I will say that when an offensive coordinator and a head coach and a quarterback all say the same thing verbatim, there's an agenda there. The reason why they were saying that is because they were trying to deflect from the fact that they obviously want to go to Marvin Harrison Jr. more, and we all bought that hook, line, and sinker. The plan is obviously going to be and include a lot of Marvin Harrison Jr. because how could it not? He's clearly the most talented football player on the field, pretty much every play.
I will say this, and I know Jeffrey doesn't agree with me, but Kyler Murray, Keon, I'm starting to see Kyler Murray being healthy, getting some time and moving out of the pocket. Kyler Murray is one of the most accurate passers in the league. He puts the ball on time, on target, almost every time.
If he can see it. There were some throws that he threw that he could not see down the field, and it floated over where it was supposed to go. And if you look back to those plays, he was directly behind the line when those kind of throws happened.
And there were a handful of pass interference calls on Detroit that didn't get called. I will say that. There was a bunch of holding calls that did not get called. But I'm not blaming the referees. I'm just saying the Cardinals fell short. Their offense needs to do more work and step up, and they got to go to the next level. I mean, right? I mean, am I wrong here? I mean, the Cardinals had opportunities, and they could not capitalize on those opportunities.
Well, they were playing a better team.
They were, but that was a winnable game, and they
think it
missed
was
the
a winnable
opportunities to make that a win for them.
Thank you,
Quiet
Keon.
Cannon says, as far as Arizona defense, sucked. Anytime the Lions wanted to, they could run the ball. They ran a draw play on third down and picked up 12 yards and a first down.
Yeah, but I don't know. They held the team to 20 points, man. I don't know what more you could possibly ask for in the National Football League. And the Lions did have success running the football. I think we know that the Cardinals defense isn't where they'd like it to be just yet. So what are we complaining about really? An understaffed Cardinals defense with players missing on that defensive line held the Lions to 20 points. Offense here to put enough points on the board to win that game.
I am just going to say that the Lions executed, the Cardinals did not execute, and that was the difference in the game. If you want to go back and watch the game, I think you'll see what I'm saying. The Lions executed, like on that hook and ladder play. Come on. They executed that perfectly, and the Cardinal defense was not ready for that. When you break out the hook and ladder play on the Cardinals, that's because you have respect for their defense. How many times? There was 2 times during the game the Cardinal defense stopped the Lions. 2 times.
Pull the plug says Kyler Murray looked like a spoiled child pouting on the bench. Now, I don't know if I can get behind that because here's the thing. He has improved his demeanor, and if he's losing a game and he's upset about it, well, you want him to be upset about it. But I mean, I didn't see the same shot you did, so maybe you're right because he has done that in the past. But hopefully, this is more of I'm mad at myself and I'm mad that we're losing and not just being a pouty baby. Harry says Randy Kyler is one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks in the league. Defense got them the ball and the offense didn't respond.
I will agree. I will agree with part of that. They did not execute, and they did not when the defense got them the ball. The offense did not. I will not agree to Kyler Murray is one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks in the league. I will not. I will not agree with that.
You may or may not like Pro Football Focus, and depending on what your stance is on the way they grade players and all of that. But that the opposite is true. Looking at the numbers, Kyler Murray is pretty damn consistent in 2024.
Silver Pop says the amount of blue, Lions blue in the crowd was embarrassing.
Well,
yeah, it was.
Again,
typical.
I've said it on this very program. You panty waist, candy ass Cardinal fans that do nothing more than buy season tickets, and then you sell the season tickets to make more money back because you turn this into a business rather than supporting your team. Here's my big English behind. Pucker up, Jack. That's why there's so much blue in the crowd.
Swazman says Randy seems sketchy to call 2-minute warning after Cardinals pick 6.
I understand that, but if you look at all the information that you have today, wouldn't you say that was a 2-minute warning? And wouldn't you say the Detroit Lion offense stopped playing? And wouldn't you say that, although it looked sketchy, it was legit. It was a legit 2-minute warning.
Teacher lady says, I have a serious question. Are Cardinal fans bipolar? Last week, Cardinal fans were gushing over Kyler Murray and his perfect quarterback rating, and we're talking about playoffs. This week, they're ready to crucify him, and they want Kyler Murray gone. Cardinal fans need to calm down. Well, that's not happening here, teacher lady. You may see that on the intranets, but we don't deal in those same sorts of craziness on this show.
Can we move on to the
it's the same. It's the same criticisms. It's the same conversation, whether they're winning or losing. The concerns are generally always the same on this program. So I don't know. I don't know where you're hearing or seeing that, but
I think she's talking more about the texts, because we did get a bunch of gushing texts last week, and we've got some texts now saying Kyler's the most inconsistent quarterback in the NFL.
Well, some of these are not Cardinal fans, teacher lady. Some of those, like one guy, I didn't get a chance to say, and then he followed it with "Go Seahawks." So plus or minus some hatred, you're going to get what you get on this text line. Bullseye says, hey, I confirmed it, looked it up. Valentine's Day, 1998, right before spring training, Harry Carey and his wife, Dutchie, were at Rancho Mirage restaurant celebrating the holiday when Carey collapsed during the meal. His color analyst, Steve Stone, said that Carey's head made contact with the table, resulting in loss of consciousness, and he died from brain damage. I think he was just trying to get out of paying the bill. And he did.
Yeah, it worked.
I mean, that's probably
mission accomplished.
Yeah.
That's how you want to go out.
I'm not leaving this restaurant. I'm leaving this mortal coil. See me never.
I got a free meal. That's what they say in St. Peter right there.
You guys go ahead and put the check over by me. You watch.
Gamecock says, how about them Packers? Well, we'll get to that maybe. Lost Toby, he's maybe a bipolar 49er fan, because he says, fire Shanahan. All right, listen.
He said that last week too.
Yeah, we got to take a break.
Yeah.
When we get back, we're going to try to lightning round through all of the football games that happened yesterday. And, we have a couple of less that we got to deal with because of the weirdness of a dual Monday Night Football bull crap. But anyways, we'll do that when we come back. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Major League Baseball, the Arizona Diamondbacks on the diamond tonight at Chase Field in Phoenix, beginning a 3-game series with San Francisco, 6 games remaining on the regular season, and they are holding on to the final wild card spot in the National League. They will send Eduardo Rodriguez to the mound tonight against Hayden Birdsong. The Diamondbacks minus a run and a half plus 115 on the run line. The Giants getting a run and a half minus 135. San Francisco plus 150 on the money line. The Diamondbacks minus 180, and the over-under run total tonight at 8.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Have you ever lifted a piece of furniture only to discover the carpet underneath looks brand new while the rest of it looks, well, not brand new? That's when you realize you need new carpet. At the Home Depot, we have a wide selection of all the top brands. Best of all, installation is included. So all you need to do is choose something that matches your style. Start your carpet project today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Installation included with qualifying purchases. Exclusions apply. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
Championship weekend is coming back to the desert. 4 title races in 3 days means there will be a buzz in the air all weekend long. NASCAR Championship Weekend at Phoenix Raceway, November 8th through the 10th. Get your tickets now at phoenixraceway.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight, and all the wagertainment you need. Plus, hopefully, we win a couple bets along the way. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Join myself and Nick Costos and tune into You Better You Bet. Weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Sting Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic. So, okay, the Colts won a game. Let me just say, they looked like one of the worst teams in football doing it. That was such a god-awful game to watch. And even though the Colts won, it just depressed me. The whole thing depressed me. They are horrible. And the only reason they won is because the Bears are horrible. Oh, my God, it was bad. I mean, it was so bad. We should have bleep stomped these guys. And Anthony Richardson was worthless as a quarterback. And he did a couple of things, to be able to try to win the game. But it was bad. Jonathan Taylor is the only good part of that we have. And, well, I feel like he won the game more than anybody. But it took the Bears stinking, and it took Jonathan Taylor, being Jonathan Taylor. Outside of that, man, I walked away from this game thinking this might be the only game my Colts win this year. It was horrible.
What do you mean? The
bad
only
football
game your Colts are going to win all year?
Unless we play the Bears again. I mean, it was just my Colts are horrible. They are bad. If you see, I watched it front to back. I watched it. I punished myself.
It
was a bad game.
Is a W.
Don't want it. Don't even want it.
Don't even want.
Nope.
No.
Seriously.
Take that W. Take it.
No. I was so disappointed.
Like I came away from that game going, I don't think the Colts are a bad football team. I do think that Anthony Richardson is obviously the development must continue because he's doing a lot of good things and then he's doing so many bad things that it undoes anything good that he manages to do out there. And like when you start looking at quarterbacks and what makes somebody accurate, the ball placement, he can do that. The touch, the ability to put some air under the ball and let somebody run under it. If I have to watch him overthrow A.D. Mitchell again, because he's just put it, it's everything's a fastball. There's no changeup.
Listen, let me tell you something about Anthony Richardson. I wouldn't even let him choose a place to go have dinner. He makes the worst decisions, constantly making bad decisions. I wouldn't let him date. I wouldn't let him do anything. I would keep him isolated because he makes horrible decisions on a regular basis. It was just some of this horrible football on both sides of the ball. I'm just depressed.
I will say this. I think that Colts have a lot of potential. Are they going to win the Super Bowl this year? No. Are they going to make the playoffs? Maybe.
No, I doubt it.
And they're going to make the playoffs if they make the right choices with this quarterback.
What choices? He doesn't make good decisions. You can give him a play, but then
what is the coaching staff doing? They're trying to have him play a game he's not capable of playing, and we've seen this over and over again.
Be ready.
I agree, Randy.
No, be ready to hit dump delay because I might throw up on air.
Well, I mean, I understand.
But I'm going to say something. I want Joe Flacco.
You can't have Joe Flacco, and this is and I don't know. I hate what Patrick Mahomes has done in the NFL because everybody expects you have 1 year, 1 year of growth, and then you throw him out there. I'm saying Anthony Richardson is a project. He was a project, and he was very raw when he was drafted.
Yes, and I've understood that better than anybody. That we've got 7 games now under his belt where he's actually been on the field. And even then, maybe still 6 because he was hurt for half of the other ones, but the ones he even played. But God, you could just see that the lights are not even on. Nobody's been home. It's just
nobody's home because
he's making horrible decisions. He's not progressing.
Because
and it bothers me.
How fast do you want him to progress? Because the decisions that are out there are lightning fast. I agree with Randy. I think that they need to take some off of his plate. You're giving him the offense to run, and he's clearly not capable of running all of it right now.
Thank you.
Reduce the workload a little bit. Play more into what the strength of this team actually is.
Well,
you have 5 people movers on your
I don't
offensive
think my
line,
coach is any good either.
and Jonathan Taylor is still one of the best running backs in football. How are
Thank
you
you.
not leaning on this and then giving Anthony Richardson more
Thank
play
you.
action, more rollout? We're gonna cut the field in half.
Yep.
We're
2
gonna ask
touchdowns from Jonathan Taylor, 1 from Trey Sermon. I mean, you're leaning on him pretty good already. You need to lean on him some more, I guess, because Anthony Richardson is hot garbage.
I'm talking.
Go ahead, Keon. I know what you're going to say. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'm talking about just your from play to play, not just in the red zone, throughout the game, to give Anthony Richardson yardage that he's not responsible for going to go get, because he still needs to understand how to read an NFL defense.
Yep.
They're complicated. NFL defense, you don't just show up and know how to read a defense. Anthony Richardson was a 50% passer in college. So you knew accuracy was an issue when you drafted him. You need to give him
I
time.
didn't want another Cam Newton.
Well, that's who you drafted.
I didn't draft anybody.
yeah,
I wasn't
I mean,
even in the room.
That's who
He
your
was- he
GM
was-
drafted.
But he was drafted to your team, and your coach refuses to set up the game plan to hit his strong points. What
I
are
like
song?
Gannon
his-
as the coach. I don't like Steichen.
I'm
as the coach.
His
watching the
strong-
Packers win football games with Malik Willis.
Thank you.
So don't tell me it can't be done to
Yeah, it
play
can.
into somebody's strengths and try and reduce their weaknesses.
So here's where the Colts also went bad in coaching. Well, they made a decision not to return a kickoff from the Bears, giving them a free timeout because they didn't burn the 2-minute warning on the kickoff return. And I don't want to talk about my Colts anymore. I just don't. Gamecock sums it up just right. Anthony Richardson doesn't look good. Swazman.
Uh-oh.
2 weeks rushing, and the Bears can only get 60 because they foolishly didn't run the ball. But Anthony Richardson can't do and play defense.
You might want to read that again.
What?
You blipped out.
We lost you for a moment
in
there.
the middle of that text. We missed about a third.
Swazman says.
So we got the beginning and we got the end. Nothing in the middle, though.
Oh, Swazman says the Colts defense allowed 400 and something yards the first 2 weeks rushing, and the Bears could only get 60 because they foolishly didn't run the ball. But I guess he's saying Anthony Richardson can't play offense and defense.
That's true.
Lost Toby says this is Shanahan's. Wait, we're not on Shanahan yet, Lost Toby. We're not there. Hold on. There. Just hold on. Radio Ron had something to say about why there were so many Detroit Lion fans in the stands. He says over the last 40 years, Arizona has averaged over 7,000 people moving here from Michigan every year, about 300,000 total, including Radio Ron. He says last one to leave Detroit, supposed to turn the lights out.
Okay.
That's a lot of people from Detroit.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, there's a lot of people from California coming over too.
All right, I don't want to listen. I don't want to talk to my Colts anymore. Let's talk about in order the games that happened. Now, remember, we have to go lightning round on this because we're so far behind now.
All right,
and we've got less time.
The Browns couldn't even do what I needed them to do after I picked them. I hate Deshaun Watson. I hope he gets decapitated. But the Giants out of nowhere. It's not out of nowhere. It's in the neighborhood of Neighbors is what happened there. Malik Neighbors showed up and had himself a game and single-handedly took out the Browns, and also some injuries helped take out the Browns. Miles Garrett got hobbled and some other stuff. But, this does not mean the Giants are suddenly good. Do not believe this mirage.
Do not believe. Yeah.
But they are better with Malik Neighbors. That was some impressive stuff right there. And, Neighbors himself, I mean, he's the first player with 20 plus catches, 3 touchdowns in the first 3 NFL games of his career. So, somebody's throwing him the ball, and his name is Daniel Jones. But
there was one throw Daniel Jones had. I thought the throw
was an interception that Malik Neighbors says, nope.
Yeah. And then Malik Neighbors just elevates that entire offense.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine any one of our teams except for Keon's with Malik Neighbors on it?
Yes. God, yes, please.
Would be very nice.
But here's the thing. Anthony Richardson wouldn't give him the ball, so I don't want to talk about
it. Well, Kyler would. Yeah.
So, the Giants, not to be trusted at this moment. Do we all agree on that?
Yes,
Not to be
yeah.
like, this is
I-
not a
I
good
agree.
team.
It's not
No,
a
it's
good
not.
team, but I
No.
do think that there are going to be matchups where this is an offense that can clearly get yards and points.
So just as things were looking the Vikings' way, Sam Darnold, he went and got himself hurt. Now it turns out it's just a
Well,
bruise on the knee. It's not what they were afraid of. The MRI came back and he's going to be fine. But the Vikings are now 3-0 after beating the Texans. Well, you should have beat the Texans. So I don't know what this means. It
Why do
means
you
Donnie
think-
will be
why do you-
insufferable and Chief
why do you
Skull will
think-
be happy.
Why do you think the Vikings should have beat the Texans? I would have thought the Texans were a better team.
Wait, because they beat the Colts?
No, I would have thought the Texans were a better team based upon who they added to their receiving room,
to their playoff team
Stephon Diggs, and I would have thought that they would have been prepared for this
Okay.
Minnesota team.
Let me explain something.
right.
As much as we don't like to say nice things about the Vikings because of Donnie,
Mhm.
the truth about the Vikings is they were great team, just add quarterback. And much to our surprise, Sam Darnold was their choice. And we thought, well, that's the end of that. But Sam Darnold stepped up and wow, he actually has been doing pretty good. In fact, he was pretty good on the injury, 20 for 31, 215 yards and a touchdown. But in general, he's been doing all right. But I don't know what this injury is going to mean. If he's going to be able to play Sunday or not. They say it's a
minor.
It's a bruise on the knee.
I
But
would assume that
who knows what the pain level is going to be? Not saying he's injured and out for the year. I'm saying he might still. Yeah, it might still give him a hard time when he's playing. But
I think they have shots for that sort of pain.
well, I'm sure he's going to get plenty of those. So anyway, he's fine. They win. They whoop the Texans upstairs and downstairs, and that's the end of that.
And they ran the football directly into the middle of the Texans defense, and the Texans couldn't stop it. And I'm actually concerned now because team that was a playoff team a year ago, and a lot of people thought, all right, Texans trending in the right direction. That run defense might actually doom them at some point this season.
Sounds familiar. I have no run defense on my Colts.
There's a few teams in the NFL right now struggling with the run defense.
It's an AFC thing. All
Yeah,
right.
the Raiders struggling, Bengals struggling, a lot of teams struggling with the run defense.
So moving on, unless you've got comments on the Vikings and the Texans, beyond that, let's take a look at the Eagles. Eked out a win against New Orleans. Hurt didn't play very well. He fumbled the ball. He threw an interception. Wasn't doing me any good in fantasy football. And I tell you what, the fantasy football king keeps telling me, every time you always start Hurts, no matter what, you start Hurts. Yeah, I'm starting to kind of
starting to doubt a little. The rushing upside, I get it. But man,
Hey, let me
he's
know if
looked
you
bad.
drop him, Jeffrey.
No, I'll just go pick up a different quarterback and
I
keep
was
him
just
for
gonna
myself.
Oh, okay.
Unless you want to trade.
Oh.
Come at me with the trade. See what you got.
I'm 0-3. So you want part of my team? 0-3.
You can't do that. That's collusion. But if you
All right.
want to
Well, all right.
instigate a trade for Jalen Hurts, I might. I have Goff on my bench, and he barely did better. He had 20 points, but well, Saquon Barkley was the difference for the Eagles more than anything, and that is why they were able to beat the Saints. Anybody have any notes on that game?
The Saints are another defense. If you run right in the middle of it, apparently there's nothing there to stop you.
Look, I think the Saints defense has taken this as a wake-up call. They're going to adjust, and I look for them to be very tough moving forward. And now that they've seen their weakness, I think they're going to adjust to it, and they're going to be very tough. Where else can you beat them at except rushing right at them? Nowhere else. I mean, I think the Saints are going to be something big.
It is a defense that did hold the team that beat them to 15 points. So that it's not the defense's fault, but it did keep that offense off the field and kept them from getting into a rhythm.
So let's ask this question and maybe even answer it. Did Justin Fields just make Russell Wilson a backup quarterback?
Ooh.
It seems like they might stick with Justin Fields going forward. The Steelers are now 3-0, which
Right?
Yeah, right. I don't even know what to do with that information, but the Steelers were able to take care of the Chargers 20-10, and Justin Fields ran for a touchdown, threw another.
Yep.
He had
Yep.
himself a day.
Yeah, but Jeffrey, you were saying last year Justin Fields is not somebody you want to overlook, and the Bears just let him go to pick up Caleb Williams, and now Justin Fields is on the
what?
Steelers.
He just
with
needed better
quality-
coaching.
He has a better coach now. He's got
Mhm.
a better coaching staff, and I wish him all the best. I think Justin Fields it could be, has the potential to be. Hear me, everybody in the fourth dimension, has the opportunity to be one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL.
I've been very impressed with him, and I think it is clearly a difference in coaching, because he was behind a bad Bears offensive line, trying to hunt big plays is what it
Right.
always felt like. And so they got into his ear in Pittsburgh and said, "Hey, you don't have to do that. Just if it's open, take it. And if it's a short pass, it's a short play. If we've got a dink and dunk, that's
Right.
fine. Just don't turn the football over. Protect the ball." He's done that. He has no turnovers so far this season. And the other issue with Justin Fields is I think that he's clearly shown the ability to just manage a football game, not be too risky. I like that.
So, all right, that's a surprise to see the Steelers are 3-0. The bigger surprise for me was to see Bo Nix and the Broncos beat the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers have a good defense. The Buccaneers are a good team. They're well done, well coached, and 26-7. Bo Nix and the Broncos. Bad day for the Bucks, or just exceptionally good day for the Broncos? This doesn't seem real either. I mean, how nobody saw this one coming?
I feel like the Bucks had one coming. I didn't know if it was this week against the Broncos or not. I chose the Bucks to beat the Bronco in my pick'em. But look, Bo Nix is a quality quarterback, and Sean Payton has got this team playing forward rather than defense. They're playing offense rather than defense, and that's where Sean Payton has his strengths. I mean, I don't know if you guys agree or not, but when you get a team that's playing offense rather than defense, that's where Sean Payton shines.
Well, the Broncos had 352 yards of offense. Bo Nix was 25 for 36, 216 yards, ran for almost 50, and he got himself a 3-yard touchdown.
Sure.
This is the offense that Sean Payton wants. He wants his quarterback to be more of a point guard. See the guy open, throw it. I don't want you to sit there and run around and try and get a 60-yard bomb when a 9-yard pass is right there. Just take it. And that's why Russell Wilson didn't work in this offense, and why Bo Nix very much does. I also think that the Broncos defense played a huge part in this. It really, the Buccaneers were never able to get into a rhythm. Patrick Surtain would always be on either Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, whichever one needed disrupting at the time. And they just moved Surtain between those two guys, and it worked very effectively. That's a very good pass defense.
I have a question. Will Lutz is kicker for Denver now?
Yeah.
He used to be the kicker for the Saints. Well, yeah, he also kicked 4 field goals yesterday, 43, 38, 33, and 43 yards. So Sean Payton has a type, I guess. He went and got him.
You know your guys. Yeah.
So here's the next one, and then we'll go to break. Malik Willis and the Green Bay Packers beat the Tennessee Titans.
Got to tell you, in my opinion, Jeffrey, I think Green Bay is one of those teams you should be watching out in the playoffs, because if their quarterback, Jordan Love, gets healthy, they made the playoffs last year. Remember how they disassembled Dallas at home in Dallas, and they went on and nearly made the Super Bowl? Remember that? I think this team is one of those watcher teams that you should keep in mind. And again, LaFleur is doing what this backup quarterback needs to do. What are his strengths?
Well,
he's going to give him the plays to play to his strengths.
And everybody pump the brakes if you're a Packer fan. When Love is healthy, you do want him back immediately. Because
Absolutely.
Malik Willis is making tons of mistakes. It's not like he's out there just slinging it and playing perfect.
No.
He's he is making rookie mistakes. I know he's not a rookie, but I mean, may as well be, right? So, he's not your guy. Even though you're 2-0 with Willis and you're 0-1 with Love, trust me, you still want Jordan Love.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, just like Andy Reid, LaFleur is one of those coaches that will bring these guys in. All right, what are his strengths? Let's play to his strengths. Let's help him help our team win games.
Because, like Jeffrey said, Malik Willis made a bunch of mistakes, but
sure,
that he only threw the ball 19 times. So the amount of mistakes he could make were limited, and that's part of what LaFleur was playing into. That and the rushing game for Malik Willis, where the 6 rushing attempts for 70 plus yards is pretty nice too.
All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we will pick it right back up. Hey, maybe we'll get this done on time today. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
4 years. That's how long it took Democrats to ruin our economy and plunge our southern border into anarchy. Who helped them hurt us? Ruben Gallego. Washington could have cut taxes for Arizona families, but Ruben blocked the bill. And his fellow Democrats gave a bigger break to the millionaire class in California and New York. They played favorites and cost us billions. And Ruben wasn't done yet. Democrats could have secured the border. Instead, they invited an invasion and used our tax dollars to pay for it. Ruben Gallego even backed the law to let them vote in our elections. Don't give Gallego and the Democrats another 4 years to hurt us. Give your support to a real Arizona leader, Kari Lake. Kari and the Republicans will secure the border, support our families, and never turn their backs on us. Kari Lake for Senate.
I'm Kari Lake, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Kari Lake for Senate and the NRSC.
My name is Mary Grace. There are a few misconceptions about Alzheimer's. It's not just memory loss. It's the loss of mobility, the risk of falling.
For more information, contact the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org, sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
When you switch and save with Progressive, you could use that money towards going to see your favorite team in the playoffs. Progressive cannot guarantee that you can go see your favorite team in the playoffs. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds on average, but we cannot guarantee that your favorite team will make the playoffs or even finish with a winning record. They could easily lose more than half their games and finish in the cellar because they stink badly and haven't made the playoffs in years. Savings, very possible. Playoffs, highly doubtful. Switch and see if you could save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance and Affiliates, not available in all states. We cannot be held liable for your favorite team's terrible and frankly embarrassing performances now or ever.
In most countries of the world, Porte means door. United Porte Custom Doors, located in the Scottsdale Airport Design District, is now open with over 40,000 European doors, all in stock, ready for delivery, and at wholesale prices. Designers, contractors, builders, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality at United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
Never again will you have to say, I missed that segment. I'm such a dinkus.
He's so lame.
Never miss an important segment, favorite host, or show again. Check out our podcast and listen whenever and wherever you want.
It's the reason Al Gore invented the internet.
Follow us on Facebook or Twitter or at 1580thefanatic.com.
Today, Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic. My name is Jeffrey O'Brien, and I have 2 important messages for you. 2 important messages. Number 1, men, if you're over 50 years old, leave the young girls alone and find a woman who understands the signs of an oncoming stroke. That's number 1. 2, Bet US. Get in on that Bet US, sportsbook and casino. They offer things the other sports books don't offer. Like crypto, cash bonuses, sign-up bonuses. BetUS even has a 200% crypto sign-up bonus. So get started today over at betus.com. All right, let's get back to this, and we might actually finish before 4:15. That would be stunning. I mean, I would be very happy with us because how many times have we had that extra 15 minutes and we still fail? Well, no, we're not going to fail today. Let's see. Where were we? Oh, right. The Panthers won. My football's broken. All of my football is broken.
I mean, they had the red rocket throwing for them.
Sometimes I guess you need a change, but this tells you maybe the Panthers weren't so bad. Maybe they just, I don't know. So here's the problem, though. Keon was just telling me about Anthony Richardson and saying, well, you can't cut bait on him. You got to hang in there with him. You got to let him get through. And I know I need a year of education for Anthony Richardson. But over here on the Panthers, Keon, they decided to discontinue a certain education and grabbed a vet and immediately started to play well.
Yeah,
so how can you tell me to be patient when I see this happen?
Well, because you don't want to be the Panthers. I mean, we're talking about a team whose owner forced the coach and general manager to draft a quarterback they didn't want, then fired the general manager and the coach, and is now forcing the team to bench the quarterback. I don't think you want to be any version of that.
No, I don't want to be the
at
Panthers.
all. So the other issue that comes up with it is that, like, Andy Dalton is currently better than Bryce Young, and the only way that Bryce Young is going to get any of the experience he needs to look anything like Andy Dalton did yesterday is to play football games. He's not going to really learn that stuff too much from the bench, except they've gotten him beaten up so much that there's no confidence there. If you go back and look at the Bryce Young stuff from even early with the Panthers or with his time at Alabama, the confidence throwing the football, especially to the sidelines, that was his strength. And he doesn't even seem to have that anymore. They didn't do him a service. And I'm pretty sure that's why you see teams like the Vikings go, we don't really want to start JJ McCarthy to start the year. Or the Patriots say, we don't want to start Drake May. Because once you put the guy in there, you run the risk of killing his confidence by just yanking him back out.
The Panthers broke Bryce Young, is what you're saying. But also Antonio Pierce having some rookie strains as far as being a head coach goes. Some decisions were made that did lead to the loss, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, they seemed entirely unprepared for the difference that Andy Dalton would bring to an offense, because we've seen Andy Dalton in a few spots fill in for Bryce Young, and that offense has looked a little bit better because he's got a little bit more experience. So some of the windows can be a little tighter, and he can still make those throws in a way that Bryce can't because he doesn't have the experience just yet. And it just seemed like Antonio Pierce and company weren't prepared for that difference in the offense, and that seems like not so good. It's a nice way to say that.
Not so good. The Rainy City Bitch Pigeons are 3-0.
That's not great either.
Wow. Okay. I don't know if I got to go back and see who they've played to get to this point, and if that 3-0 is a impressive 3-0 or a expected 3-0, but
50-50, because like they played a Tua-less Dolphins team. They did play the Patriots, who great defense, offense does not work, and then the Broncos, which that looks better now that the Broncos have won a game.
Yeah, still no. Okay, I'm less impressed. I am less impressed. I thought I was going to have to say nice things to and about Ralph. That would have broke me in half right there.
After the weekend you had, I think so.
Oh man, my football is broken. My picks are crap. My fantasy football is crap.
Everybody's
picks team is crap. I don't even know. I don't even want to talk about it. Anyway, so the Dolphins, turns out they're going to need another quarterback because they broke the Tua, and then their next guy, I didn't even. What's his name? Who got hurt? Who was it? Tim Boyle?
No, it was Skylar Thompson. Tim Boyle came in after.
Skylar Thompson got hurt. Now we got Tim Boyle. These Dolphins are in a huge amount of trouble. I'm just going to leave it there. They're in a huge amount of trouble. That this was supposed to be a Super Bowl quality team, and now because Tua decided not to slide, their season is effectively over.
Yeah, I mean, that's how quarterback dependent the NFL is, and it's a margin because some quarterbacks are elevated by the roster they're on, but some other quarterbacks, and I think Tua's in that category of guy, you want him out there to bring together everything that you've drawn up. Skylar Thompson was doing it a little. Tim Boyle can't do it at all.
So the Ravens got to win against the Cowboys, 28-25, and started out a blowout. It was 28-6, and then I don't know what happened to the defense for the Ravens, but boy, they got close, ending at 28-25. Justin Tucker missed a field goal in the first two games, and then he missed this one. So, I mean, there's a lot going on here, but I don't know what to make of this. I don't think there's, yay, Ravens are back, and
I think the Ravens offense looked good yesterday. I just looked solid. Obviously, you can't stop playing in the second half, but there were things that happened that were outside of the control of that offense, like the onside kick that the Cowboys recovered, for instance, that kept them off the field some more. And then they had, back-to-back 3-and-outs in that second half that just, when a team is moving like Dallas was, I don't know that you can necessarily allow that to happen. But I do think that when you look at what the Ravens have been struggling with, it's that secondary. I think that until they get healthy at that spot, when teams need to throw the football to get back into games, it seems like they can get whatever they want against this Ravens defense. And until I start seeing some healthy corners on that roster, I'm not going to be able to trust the Ravens.
So Brandon Aubrey for the Dallas Cowboy kicked a 65-yard field goal, second longest in NFL history. Still didn't win, but that was kind of cool. That was a heck of a kick right there. Moving on now to the Rams beating the 49ers. Now we can get all the 49er texts going in here. Brock Purdy, I think he's the real deal, played as advertised, but remember, it takes an entire team, and he did make a mistake. I don't know if it was a mistake or if it was forced. If a guy comes up and pops the ball out of your hand or hits your arm while you're about to pass, that fumble should not be on the quarterback. That fumble's on the O-line for letting that guy through. But he had 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, 41 yards on the ground, and a fumble. Brock Purdy, he's fine. But the 49ers have some other work that they need to work on. Lost Toby says this is Shanahan's 5th loss in regular season or playoffs when leading by 10 points in the fourth quarter. Since Shanahan was hired by the Niners, only John Harbaugh has blown more double-digit fourth quarter leads. 6. Shanahan is worse since it includes the NFC Championship and a Super Bowl. Fair enough.
It's okay. Do you want to be in a position to blow leads in the first place, or would you rather just be bad?
I think he'd probably rather be better.
Okay. I'm saying if you can find the coach that's better, you go ahead. I think that's a very easy decision to make. I'm sure that's a simple thing that you can do.
Get your AI working and find them a better coach.
Because good luck finding the coach that's just immediately better than Kyle Shanahan. Good luck. I just genuinely don't know what you want.
Maybe they want to hire old Cliffy.
Cliff Kingsbury's available.
He's an offensive genius, right?
Take him. Leading the league right now in most passes behind the line of scrimmage. Take him.
That sounds familiar.
You know what? I'll take your Kyle Shanahan if you take Cliff Kingsbury from me.
Huh. Lost Toby also says the Niners had 6 drops. So, okay. So
you can't blame Kyle for that. What, do you want him to catch the passes too?
9/10 of their pass catchers are hurt.
That is also true. So that was the other thing I was going to say. Brock Purdy being able to do what he did without McCaffrey, without Samuel, without Kittle. Yeah, Brock Purdy is the real deal. So
two of his leading receivers are Jawan Jennings, who I like, but he's Jawan Jennings, and Eric Saubert. I didn't know who that was until I saw him catching passes.
I've never even seen that name in life.
You have got to be kidding me with.
Why is it every time I hear that name, Jeffrey, I want sorbet?
Well, because it sounds kind of like sorbet.
You like sorbet for one thing.
And sorbet's delicious.
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's a tasty chilled.
The wife and I dined at Kasai Japanese Steakhouse on Saturday. At the end, they gave us this pineapple sorbet.
Oh, it's nice.
And I just kind of smiled at my wife. I'm like, pineapple. She's like, what? I'm like, nothing. Anyway, 888-368-1580. Hurry Harry says, how about them Seahawks? How about that? Quiet Cannon says, Brock Purdy is a perfect example of bringing a quarterback along at a slower pace according to his ability. Nobody knew how really good Brock Purdy was until he had to elevate his game to meet tougher situations. Yeah, and he just did.
Granted, not everybody has the roster to do that. the Niners were specifically in a good position.
But
to make that
McCaffrey,
happen.
Samuel, Kittle, all out. So I think in this game, he's proven himself.
He's proving himself, but in terms of bringing him along slowly, their roster allowed them to do that.
Boss Toby says Ronnie Bell shouldn't have been on the plane right back. Shanahan had two decisions to kick field goal or not kick him in the last 2 weeks that cost us games.
Then take Cliff from me. I just, if whatever you tell me the guy that's better that you want that you'd replace him with.
There's Cliff Kingsbury. He's available.
Because I'll drive him to San Francisco myself.
I mean,
Bound and gagged, but he'll drive it.
But I'll take
Cliff. Yeah, Cliff.
All right, listen, I'm going to hold on to some of these texts until we come back. We will only have 15 minutes on the other side because we got an early start on our Monday Night Football. That's right. Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Buffalo Bills at 4:15 p.m. We'll wrap this all up when we come back. It's a Daily Blender here on 1580, The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
4 years. That's how long it took Democrats to ruin our economy and plunge our southern border into anarchy. Who helped them hurt us? Ruben Gallego. Washington could have cut taxes for Arizona families, but Ruben blocked the bill. And his fellow Democrats gave a bigger break to the millionaire class in California and New York. They played favorites and cost us billions. And Ruben wasn't done yet. Democrats could have secured the border. Instead, they invited an invasion and used our tax dollars to pay for it. Ruben Gallego even backed a law to let them vote in our elections. Don't give Gallego and the Democrats another 4 years to hurt us. Give your support to a real Arizona leader, Carrie Lake. Carrie and the Republicans will secure the border, support our families, and never turn their backs on us. Carrie Lake for Senate.
I'm Carrie Lake, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Carrie Lake for Senate and the NRSC.
Have you ever lifted a piece of furniture only to discover the carpet underneath looks brand new while the rest of it looks, well, not brand new? That's when you realize you need new carpet. At the Home Depot, we have a wide selection of all the top brands. Best of all, installation is included. So all you need to do is choose something that matches your style. Start your carpet project today at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Installation included with qualifying purchases. Exclusions apply for licenses. See homedepot.com/license numbers.
Hi, guys. Jeffrey O'Brien here. Have you ever gone to HarmonSolar.com? Well, you really need to, because everything you ever wanted to know about how solar power can save you big on your monthly electric bill is right there. It's online. Through your phone or through your computer, you can learn about tax credits, the equipment they use, look at how they do things for businesses as well as homeowners, see testimonials from happy customers, and I hear they got a pretty good podcast too. Check it out. Go to HarmonSolar.com. That's HarmonSolar.com.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Forte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Forte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Forte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
People settle down because it's time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, it's 4 o'clock here on the Daily Blender. I'm your good friend, Radio Pal, Jeffrey O'Brien, alongside Randy White. Got Keon Rose in the control room, and you guys are on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580. As we broadcast live from the Harmon Solar Studios in Scottsdale. We have exactly 15 minutes to finish up, but I think we're going to be fine because we only we only really have one more game to talk about. And that was Sunday Night Football. So I feel pretty good about our chances to actually make it. But before we continue, let me get caught up on the text line. Let's see, Seabass says, Mr. Moneybags over there going to Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. It's not that bad. I mean, it's a nice place, but it's not like crazy expensive. Randy's back. T. Lecious says, so what are the chances Allen, Etienne, and Jaceki get me 85 points? Haha, dreaming is free. Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but how many points are you behind me right now, Keon? Like 80?
Yeah, like a lot. Yeah,
like 100.
I got Joe Burrow and Brian Robinson playing tonight.
Let me just say, the way my fantasy football has been, good chance you're going to still win. I got 138 to his 56 points, and he's got Burrow, Robinson, and the kicker Bass. So, yeah, nothing's safe. Nothing is safe. You might make it. I
have no idea.
My picks. I think I've got 5 right so far. My picks are horrible. This is just, football's broken.
It's one of those years where it just, we're starting with so many things that appear to be different from what we believed. You kind of have to readjust your expectations for a lot of teams.
And I did that. And then I had to readjust after readjusting. And now I've adjusted the readjusting back to the adjusting.
And I don't know when it stops. I don't know when it stops. It's just readjusting all the way down.
I said this on the couch last night. My wife just kind of was like, word. Like, serious. And here's what I said. Football. Go home. You're drunk. And that's what it feels like. Big George says, do we need a welfare check on Fish Tank? No, he's sleeping it off. He got good and drunk. He's sleeping it off.
I saw he was leading the picks for this weekend. So, he's got something going for him.
He's actually the leader, not just he was a leader for the week, and then that changed, but he's still the leader of the season so far. So who knows what happens after tonight? But suddenly he has found himself in the lead. It's a long season, but good for you, man.
Good start.
Swazman says, Jeffrey, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers went 11-0 a few years ago, then ended up 11-6 and out of the playoffs in the first round. Last year, Eagles, 11 wins and out of the first round in the playoffs. So don't underestimate these teams that stay the course. Okay. But I don't even know what the course is what we're trying to say right now. Do you know what the course? I don't know what the course is. The course is weird. There's a weirdness to this course. And I'll tell you what, 3 more weeks from now, I guarantee you it's going to be a very different picture. Will things have settled down? Good God, I sure hope so. I sure hope so.
I mean, you hope so, but the way this season is going, I'm just going to wait and see what happens.
Lost Toby says, Christian McCaffrey's in Germany visiting a specialist. Mecca CMC coming back to the NFL. I don't know if I like that he's going to Germany. He looks like a guy who might have been on some of their posters. You know what I'm saying?
See, that doesn't mean that he would have agreed.
It's not a great look. I'm just saying.
It's just if that's where the healthcare is for that particular injury, that's where you got to go.
And you'll do us a favor if we do this for you.
I don't think that's
makes me nervous. Hey, the Germans make me nervous no matter what. All right. Let's talk about Sunday night football. The Chiefs were able to get the W over the Falcons. The Falcons came out looking pretty good. Kirk Cousins brought them to 7-0 early on. But I don't know. It wasn't really great football for both these teams. It was a fun game to watch, but it was kind of a mess. And even Patrick Mahomes is saying, it's like, I haven't really felt like I've played very well yet. And he almost got hurt. Well, there was a scary moment where his foot got stuck in the turf and he was just kind of like shaking his leg. It was towards the end of the game, but still you're like, ooh. And it's that horrible turf. Artificial stuff, and they drag their foot and all that weird black rubber stuff comes flying up in the air. It's that kind of turf.
Yeah, it always makes you hold your breath a little bit when you see a player's cleat get caught in that, because it usually tends to end in some kind of ACL tear. So good news for Chiefs fans. That didn't happen with Patrick Mahomes, but I think that we have to give a lot of credit to the way the defenses in the NFL have come out this season, because they are making these offenses look incredibly bad. And I thought that that's what happened in this game too. The Falcons defense came to play, They just needed their offense to give them a little bit more support, and it just didn't happen. And I think the Chiefs defense did everything that you could ask them to do to contain what the Falcons had.
Well, I mean, the
brought to the
Chiefs, the Chiefs defense and the officials.
Oh, stop it.
I don't know.
The officials helped them win that game.
How?
Come on, man. Come on.
How? What is the moment where you thought an official helped them win it?
I will let the fans, the Chieftain fans, come out and go ahead and say how
They'll
the
never admit it.
referees. What do you mean?
I agree. It's happened sometimes. Where did it
Oh,
happen
it
last
happened.
night?
It happened again last night.
He's talking about in the end zone where there should have been pass interference when that Raven, I can't remember who was it, Pitts. So somebody jumped up for trying
Kyle Pitts
got a guy right in his face, and the thing is, the guy didn't even turn around. I agree that should have been pass interference.
That's PI all day
But
long.
this narrative that the Chiefs,
Oh my gosh! Are you guys kidding me right now?
You make it sound like that the officials are really competent enough to do that. I don't think they are.
Please, these guys are totally on Kansas City's side here. Come on, Kansas City and Dallas.
Niner-Napolis says
Dallas
the
has
refs
got no
literally
favors.
took away the go-ahead touchdown from the Falcons. Randy hit the nail on the head. Hey, listen, I wish Kyle Pitts would have caught that. I wish, because I got Kyle Pitts. I could have used the fantasy football points. And was it pass interference? Yes, I agree 100%. But do I want to go along with the narrative that the Chiefs and the refs are all in this giant circle jerk of collusion? No.
I'm not going there either, especially because
They
the
got
Falcons,
some calls against them too.
and the Falcons had opportunities to win. Like what it does when you focus on the refs like that is it takes away from the fact that the other team still had opportunities to win. That there were a couple of drives that ended in 3 and outs late in that game that the Falcons needed to move the chains, and they didn't do that. That was them, not the refs.
Plenty of games left this season to prove my point that the Chiefs and the referees play every game for the Chiefs.
Well, okay. You know what? If it keeps on going and there's something in every game,
there's going to be a blown or bad call in every game.
Blown calls
I'm
are
sorry.
one thing, but this pass interference from this one, and
And
lack
I'm
of
the
a call
guy.
there.
I'm the guy that said the Cardinals didn't lose on that a crazy play, that 2-minute warning play. Remember that? I'm the guy that didn't blame the officials for the loss of the Cardinals. I'm just saying it seems pretty hinky whenever the Chiefs play.
But
there's always a call
we're
that seems to
harder
go
and
in
harder
their
to
favor.
defend.
But it was with the Patriots too.
There's
like
always
it felt like that with the Patriots, especially not late Brady, early Brady. It
I'm
felt like
just
there was always something like
Niner-Napolis says, I wouldn't say collusion, just more of a fact that the Chiefs are clearly the NFL darling, and I feel like they may have a hand in keeping it that way. That has nothing to do with being bitter about multiple Super Bowl losses.
There you go.
Oh, well, you're saying that they're like slipping them a hundy? What do you think they're doing? Like getting autographs from Taylor Swift? Seabass says Randy is right and speaks the truth. You guys are
See
just
that?
in denial that Taylor Swift, the referees, and the NFL are all colluding to have the Chiefs win.
Taylor Swift is not colluding to do anything.
What a great
They were
storyline.
winning
before
before
she showed
I
up.
got to say, it's harder and harder to defend. It is getting harder to
What
defend.
a great storyline to have a team go at 3-peat. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I'm not saying that there's no
But most people
incentive
hate
for
that.
it.
So why would the NFL want that?
Because the
what a
NFL
great story.
is king parody. That's
Yeah.
what they always go for. But I'm just saying there were plenty of times with the Patriots where, especially in my Patriot hating part of my life, it felt like every week, like, oh really? That's a call that they're not getting.
So then
Interesting. Like it
you
felt
would
like that all the
agree with
time.
me. So then you would agree with me, Keon.
No,
That's 2/3 of the audience here.
I don't actually think that's what was happening. If you go back and watch it, no, they're just good
Cousins,
football teams.
By the way, even though they lost, he became the 4th fastest to 40,000 yards by matching up with Dan Marino right there. He has 40,000 passing yards, and he did it in his 153rd game. So it's not a small thing there. Not a small thing. Wasn't worth a win, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not a small thing, but I gotta imagine if you're Dan Marino, you're pretty furious that you set all these records back when coaches had the actual coaching philosophy of 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That's good. We'll take that. Imagine the yards that Dan Marino would have put up in an offense that played in 2024. He'd kill people.
Seabass says the Swifties have gotten the key on. Well, we know that big NBA has.
The Swifties. I don't know. Look, I don't give a damn about Taylor Swift, but like the Chiefs were winning before Taylor Swift got there, and people being hung up on Taylor is the dumbest thing. I hate talking about Taylor Swift, and you all bring it up, texters, everybody listening. Why? Stop it. Let it go. Nobody cares.
CK says, Keon, Jeffrey, you're right. One call or non-call usually happens, but the Chiefs usually have 1 or 2 dozen calls. That's not true. Or non-calls happen in their favor. And Randy's right.
And there's some stuff that's just narrative. Like I remember people were saying, well, every time Patrick Mahomes throws an interception, he gets bailed out by referees with various calls. But if you look at it, a lot of those were calls where it was a false start before the play started. So you know it's a free play. So you throw the risky pass, and then it's not an interception if it's an interception. Like that's half of those. I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it until you put data in front of my face. Not
Soon
just
you will, Padawan.
A call here, a call there. Because I saw the Falcons get away with some calls too.
So
why aren't you bringing that up? Oh, because the team you hate didn't actually get those calls.
Hamilton Porter says, by the way, I was at the Cardinals game yesterday with a friend that flew in from Detroit, and that felt like a home game for the Lions.
Yep.
Yeah, stinks, but that's the way it is around here. T. Licious says, Ayuk not doing jack. Bell dropping that pass. That should anger Niner fans more than the whole thing about Shanahan.
Oh, this is what happens when you miss training camp, man.
Or if you're badly coached.
The other thing about, hey, if you want these guys in here and in camp, how important is that? Like these holdouts affect players.
Et tu, Supergirl? Et tu? She says, I agree with Randy. He's absolutely right. Well, listen, I'm on the fence on this. You know, I seen it too. I've seen some of the non-calls. I've seen some of the silliness. And for the official from last night, he was like, well, from our view, we saw no pass interference. Okay. There was no angle that it wasn't pass interference.
Was your point of view from behind your eyelids where they closed your eyes? Because that was a pass interference. Like there's just no.
Trey Blake was just like, I don't know. He was like, it was a real-time judgment call, and we do the best we can. But in real time, the angle we had, we did not feel there was a foul committed.
Was the real time call while you were blinking? Was it a long blink? Was it like a 4 to 5 second blink? Because there's no way. That was absolutely pass interference.
Getting harder and harder to defend. That's all I can say.
Just be transparent and say, yeah, we screwed up on that one. That'd go a much longer way with people than we didn't see anything. Yeah, we know.
There was a good moment, though, with the Chiefs last night. Carson Steele, that kid, I'll tell you what, he's a personality for sure, but being able to get his first start in the NFL, his family was watching from his sister's wedding.
That he had to skip. Yeah.
And he had a nice night. He got a little dinged up during it, or else they probably would have had 100 yards, but he got a little bit roughed up towards the end of the game. And he played pretty well. Undrafted rookie, got himself a start. So it was good for him. All right, listen, we're out of time. That's it. We got to go. Coming up next, Monday Night Football for your ear holes. It's Jaguars and Bills coming up next. It's the Daily Blender here on 1580 The Fanatic.
You better, you bet.